So, good evening. Good evening. We're back again. And today it is another new guest. We're dropping guests consistently on this channel. This channel is more consistent than Arsenal's form at the moment. And tonight, I'm actually really pleased to have this guy on as well. Grizz Khan from LFC Daytrippers is on the channel. So welcome to the channel, buddy. I hope you're well.
Yeah, man, not too bad. Nice one. Thank you. Thank you for having me on. Absolute privilege, bro.
No, you're welcome, man. You listen, I've seen you on with Turkish a couple of weeks ago. I think I put a comment in. I can't remember. I think I put a comment in, but you spoke really well on that. And like you, from what I gathered on that stream, you're not one of these like, oh, we've won the league, we're great, I'm just going to be a prick about it. Like, you actually speak really well.
We were just talking off air about sort of the state of fan bases, weren't we? Hold on, is it a bit dark in here? Is my light a bit dark in there?
No, well, you look fine, mate.
Yeah, all right. But yeah, look, we were talking about things off air, weren't we, in terms of fan bases and how everything's so toxic. Forget like rivalries, like even fan bases of individual clubs are mad. So look, it is what it is, man. I'm not really into this banter thing, man, with other clubs too much. You know, we all have our sort of banter clubs, don't we, that we like to banter with, like you guys have with Man United and us. We've got it with you guys and Man United and Chelsea fans. So it's all part and parcel of the game. But I'm one of these that likes to sort of keep it, speak when you've got a platform to speak from. Like, you don't speak when you're like languishing in 14th and things like that. Do you know what I mean? It makes you look like an idiot, really, don't it? Do you know what I mean? Because you're asking.
Do you think that comes down to the age that we are? I mean, I don't know how old you are, but I'd assume.
Yeah, no, mate. You're spot on, mate. It's absolutely that. It 100%. It comes with. Look, I'm not going to say maturity, but you see it through. You've seen through the bad times, the good times, and the bad times. I've seen the good times, right? Just at the end of the good times as a Liverpool fan, the bad times, and now the good times. So you see all the emotions that we've gone through. Like, and so many people were saying, like, when we won the league, you must have gone mad and celebrated mad and gunned all your mates, the Man United, the Chelsea boys, Arsenal boys. I was like, no, I didn't. Like, literally, it's a funny story. Like, anyone who knows me from the Trippers and 90 Minutes will know. 15 of us got together, right, Lee, in a farm, old boys, because we were so tired mentally. 30 years, it's broken us. We sat there, right, and had mangoes, watermelons, and we just chilled out all evening. And we looked at each other. We said, we never thought we were going to see it again, did we? It's true. That's how we felt.
But that's how I feel right now.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can absolutely imagine. And you're not going to have no energy left when by the time you do win something or a league. Do you know what I mean?
I had a better forehead last time we won a title. My hair's gone back. I'm going to be moving like Mane soon, mate. Trust me. Like, it's just going to be further back. The stress of this football club, mate.
People saying like it's time you dyed your beard, Grizz. Now, like, but I'm saying I'm leaving it natural because this is what Liverpool done to me, bro. I had like a thick beard, black beard, like Turkish, right? And now I look at myself, I'm thinking, Turkish man, this is you in about 5 years if you carry on the way your club's carrying on. Do you know what I mean? But it is, man. It's true. By the time we won the league, I was like knackered. We just looked at each other and we were like overawed emotionally. We were like, didn't know what to say. We didn't have chance to sort of banter people and cuss people and laugh people. And we just like, we were happy for ourselves as opposed to the first thing you think is, right, let's fucking cuss everyone else.
Yeah,
you know
see, that's a different mentality to me. Like, see, I get a lot of heat in the Arsenal community on social media. And when we beat Man United the other week, we were just speaking about this off air, right? When we beat Man United the other week, after I came off of my watch along, I very rarely get comments because the stream's done, the game's done.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about the watch along anymore. I had over 100 comments on that of people coming out the woodwork going, he's proving you wrong. It's like, you're thinking about me instead of celebrating a win at Old Trafford. Like, I just don't get that mentality, bruv.
Sometimes they forget that the reason why we say what we do is from the heart and it's for the betterment of the club. Do you know what I mean? Like, who doesn't want, I mean, you know, everyone should know that you're a fucking loyal fan for, you got Gunner in your surname. Do you know what I mean? How much more people want in terms of you want the best for your club? Everything that you say or do is, in your opinion, for the betterment of the club. You're not looking to, you know, some people like saying sort of like you want your club to lose so you look good. Fuck off. That's like such a backward mentality. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants like their club to lose so you can be proved right. It's like you want. I always say it. Like if I got any doubts, I say I hope I'm so badly proved wrong. Do you know what I mean? That's the first thing you say. As a Liverpool fan, it's a win-win situation. If I'm proved right, if I'm proved wrong, mad. That means Liverpool have done well. That's when I'm critical Liverpool. Obviously, at the moment, we've got nothing to really moan about apart from like natural fucking stuff. But what it happens.
It must be great being a Liverpool fan right now. I mean, like you said, you've been there. You've seen the whole journey of 30 years and all that. And like I remember the last time you won the league. Yeah, I remember my first memory of Arsenal on TV was Anfield '89. I was only tiny, I was nearly 7. I remember my parents let me stay up and watch it. Yeah, but I didn't really know. I was Arsenal, but I didn't really know what it meant. When you're 6, 7 years old, you don't really get it. Then when you get a couple of years older, I was like 8, 9. We then won it in 91. Yeah, and like obviously I've seen Liverpool go over all them years growing up into secondary school and leaving and going into adult life. And you've had some wicked teams along the way, man. You've had some bad boy players, Robbie Fowler, Michael Owen, like Gerrard. What a baller he is, man. Like you've had some top class players. And it's funny because a lot of our fans are trying to compare the process, which in my opinion don't exist, right? But the process of what we're trying to do to what Klopp did. Like as a Liverpool fan hearing that, because obviously you've seen that all over social media. What do you think when you see that? Do you think that is the case, or do you think that that's just ridiculous? And
I don't know what to make of Arsenal. You know that currently, I get the patient side of things and people preaching patience, and we got the same. We had so many false storms, Lee. Yeah. We had sort of the Rafa Benitez when he finished second, so close. But then he fell out with the owners, right? Because they weren't on the same wavelength. And we're very similar. Then we had the Brendan Rodgers, so close. Roy Evans, so close. Gerard Houllier, so close. Do you know what I mean? We've been so close. So when people say trust the process in terms of comparing the two clubs in recent times, when I say recent, shall we say the last Arsenal 8-10 years, maybe 7-8 years, something like that. The similarities are that you've got American owners that don't understand football, in my opinion, right? That's the main problem. And that's the main problem we had. Our frustrations were with the owners. Like they were doing everything brilliantly business-wise, like making loads of money for us. Yeah. But didn't understand the football side of things, and we were making mistake after mistake in the transfer market. We couldn't hire the right people that were in charge of our scouting, and that's where I see the similarities with Arsenal. I don't know if have you got a football director who's into? I think you got one now, Edu, isn't it?
We've got Edu as technical director, yeah.
Technical director. See, until you don't get, in my opinion, until you don't get the right technical director and his coach working in tandem, you're going to carry on being a topsy-turvy team. Do you know what I mean? Like no consistency at all. Because for me, it's all about everyone from top to bottom has to be on the same wavelength. Now, I don't think Arsenal have got that. The turning point for us was obviously Jurgen Klopp, but getting Michael Edwards as the go-between. I don't know. You obviously know much more than me in terms of your setup. Have you got that continuity that everyone's on the same page from the top to the bottom?
We've been a bit of a mess for the last God knows how long. I mean, we had the whole Wenger in out campaigns. He then went. Whether he was sacked, whether he left, we'll never know. But I personally think they pushed him and said, "You're going, otherwise we're going to sack you." He then left, but we had Sven Mislintat come in as a chief scout. After that, I think it might have just been before he left, actually, Wenger. He lasted, 18 months, a year. Then he went. He didn't like the structure around him.
Oh, then we didn't like it. See? So there you go. So there's something in there from your first appointment after Wenger. There's something in it already, right? So
yeah, as a scout as well. Yeah, not even manager, just a scout. And then Raul Sinelli came in, and he was he was the ex-Barcelona guy that was in Barcelona's greatest period. He was in the hierarchy, and
seen as the Messiah.
Yeah, he came in and listen, he'd done well, I think, at times. Like he got rid of Cole Jenkinson. I mean, the guy had been here for 8 years. Every time a window opened, transfer, he mysteriously had an injury. The window shuts, he's fine again. He finally got money for him. We got £1 million for him. We got rid of Iwobi for 40 million quid. No, he did do some good work. We signed Nicola Pepe, who I think we well overpaid. But ultimately, that's now come out later down the road that he may have took a backhander out of that, and that's why he's been potted. Then we've had Edu come in as well in the middle of that. And for me, and a lot of Arsenal fans, not all of them, but a lot of Arsenal fans think that Edu's just a bit of a fraud because he's tapping up Brazilians like Willian, Gabriel, the boy Marie. He's not Brazilian, but he played in the Brazilian league. You know, Martinelli came in. He's Brazilian, although he's a fantastic player. And then other than that, he's going to sign in free signings. The only signing he's done that's not a free signing, that's not from a Brazilian league or a Brazilian background or free, is Thomas Partey, and we knew the price. It's like, is there actually a plan? And then we put the guy who was second, or there was two MDs basically. Vinay, I can't even pronounce his surname. He is now the top boy. But 18 months ago, when Raul Sanelli got the job, he wasn't deemed to be good enough to get the job, but now he's the guy to lead us forward. Then you've got the owner's son, who I think does the day-to-day running of Arsenal Football Club, and then you've got the owner who just can't be asked. So it's a mess from top all the way down to like first team level.
I know your pain. I know your pain. I as a Liverpool fan, everyone knows that the issues we had with Hicks and Gillette. Sorry, do you want to read that? Do you want to read your super chat?
Yeah, go on. Thank you, mate. You said it so succinctly. Americans don't and can't relate to the English passion and desire for success. Conversely, the average Brit won't understand the importance of winning the Super Bowl. That's very true. Alex, thank you for your donation as always, buddy. I hope you're well. But that's very true. He makes a great point. Like, we don't really get it, and they don't really get it. But
simple. I mean,
if you educate yourself on it, you'll grow on it.
Well, this is where our new owners, bless their cotton socks, Lee, they've educated themselves. They have not. Everyone's talking about we've got the best owners in the world now, but they've made loads of mistakes. But what the main thing they done was put football people in charge of football things, and they learned along the way. The chap who done the super chat is spot on. They didn't understand football, just like the majority of us don't understand the Super Bowl, the passion for the Super Bowl. American football is what it is. It may sound harsh, but let's get real. It is what it is, right? Now, our owners made loads of mistakes, hired the wrong people. Recruitment was all over the place. We spent money, but we had no plan. Like, the Balotellis, the Andy Carrolls. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that was a joke, the Andy Carroll one.
Do you know what I mean? So there's no planning. It's like it's the equivalent of Arsenal panicking and getting whoever on the last stage. You know what I mean? So we can relate. Like, how many signings have Arsenal made, and you think, why did they just do that? Sometimes it's just for the sake of signing, because
just scouting to shut fans up, just to keep everything calm. Yeah, absolutely.
Just that. So where you think, like, I knew Willian was going to be an absolute. I said it. I said to some Arsenal fans, I said Willian's going to be an absolute waste of time for you. Like, what Arteta is trying to create is the total opposite of a Willian. Why if he's trying to create a new pressing machine, players that off the pitch are a model example, on the pitch as well. Willian's not your man. Come on, me and you could probably work out that Willian's not your man. Do you know what I mean? So we had all that, but we struck gold with Michael Edwardsley. Our sporting director is an absolute G. Again, he worked his way through the system, but they saw something in it. They knew, like, really, he's a stats man. So everyone knows our recruitment is based on a lot of stats, not just stats, but the difference we got, what Arsenal haven't got, is an absolute unity in terms of top to bottom. Like there's 3 levels, and all 3 levels have to agree. Otherwise, we don't sign the player, or we sign the player. And that's how you get unity, because otherwise what you're going to get is bickering. So imagine we brought in, just for an argument's sake, let's just say we brought in, I don't know, Griezmann. Klopp didn't want him, but the other two, the owners and Michael Edwards, said, brilliant signing. But Klopp didn't want him. if we put in Griezmann just for argument's sake, then Klopp has sort of ground to say, well, I didn't want him. So it seems like Arsenal haven't got that. You know, it's like that's what's happening.
You've just made a nailed on point, right? Because
you can tell some of those are not Arteta signings or what he would require.
All
or
of
maybe
the
it's
stories
Arteta
that come out about Thomas Partey were that he didn't want Thomas Partey. He wanted to assemble
Arteta.
He wanted the creative side.
There you go. There you go.
Arsenal wanted Thomas Partey, and listen, Thomas Partey is a brilliant player. We should, if we're really going for it, we should have bought them both. Yeah, but
I said if you get Arteta, I said if you get Hossamoa and Partey, you will challenge for top 4, 100%. But because you got one, you know, I said, you know, top 6 is the best you'll get in my opinion. But
I don't even think that. If I'm honest, I think 8th, if we're lucky.
Well, the way the season's going, Lee, the only consolation, right, for you guys to keep going is no one's special out there at the moment. No teams standing out. We were the standouts of last season. We're not standing out because of the state of our squad. Obviously, we're still up there, but no one else is standing out. I mean, like what? Man City are not consistent. Chelsea fans think they seem to be sort of the favourites suddenly, but they're not. Bollocks to that. So no one's standing out. So Arsenal, that's the only consolation for Arsenal, that it's such a tipsy-topsy season. You could still get into that top 6. Do you know what I mean? Somehow. I mean, I'm disappointed. I'm not going to lie. I'm disappointed with Arteta, because I'm gonna tell you how I felt when you first got him. I thought this is the guy that you've got to trust, regardless of what happens. Because in that first part of his time, like near the end of the season, from an outsider, I noticed a mentality in the Arsenal team that I hadn't seen for years, in terms of we won't get bullied. Because what are Arsenal famous for? Getting bullied.
Yeah, weak lightweights.
Yeah, lightweights. Yeah. Any away game. Go to Palace, you're going to get beat. Go to Wolves, you're going to get beat. Go to anything. All right. So what I noticed was near the end of the season, and I've got loads of Arsenal mates, and I said, no, you know what? This guy's trying to create a mentality of we won't get bullied, and that's a basis to work with. Because most Arsenal coaches and managers I always start working from the top. This geezer seemed to working out from the defense. He tried to solid you up, and he was doing that. I suddenly saw Arsenal players pressing like I've never seen Arsenal players put in a shift ever. When we went up there, I know the season was ending, but the way you lot pressed us and realistically didn't give us a sniff, I thought this guy's onto something. The way you beat Man City in the FA Cup?
Semi-final,
And you went and beat Chelsea. I thought this guy's got something in big games that Arsenal have never had. Because Arsenal were always, when they were going to play a big team, they're going to thrash, they're going to thrash you. I used to look forward to Arsenal at home. Do you know what I mean? It's like easy.
Mate, I never. I used to be at the ground. Every time I've been here, I've seen us get battered.
I used to, you know what? It was, and have you noticed? It was always like the first 2-3 weeks of the season. So it used to be hot. We used to love driving up to Anfield against Arsenal. We knew 4-5-0, and we're going to enjoy ourselves, right? But coming to the end of last season, I noticed this mentality. I thought it was a mentality shift, and you're really stiffening up. Where I lost it with Arteta. And this is, as a Liverpool fan, I shouldn't even be losing it with Arteta. I should be like, yeah, mate, carry on. Grand job. Love it. Like Ole, I'm massive with Ole in. Shout out to Rance. I wind him up all the time. I say, I'm Ole in for life. Every time I go onto one of his shows, he hates it because I'm bigging up Ole. To all his fans, like, no, give Ole a chance.
Yeah, keep him. It's doing you a favour.
I was thinking the same, right, with Arteta, like, right? And then suddenly this season, so he goes and gets a wicked result. And then I see, there was one game against Man City and they had a 1-0 lead and there was absolute no effort, no mindset to even try to get an equalizer.
Yeah.
And I was watching that game and then I thought, no, I'm being biased because I want Arsenal to get a result against Man City, which will help us. Maybe I'm being a bit biased, right? But then he fucking went and done it against Leicester City at home.
Yeah.
Leicester City at home. I was thinking he's playing the same formation. He's playing with the same mindset as he's doing in a big away game. You can totally understand and relate, and you can totally get why he's doing it in big games away from home. And you applaud him for that. And I thought, this guy knows what he's doing. But I thought at some point he will try to make progression in terms of attacking intent. You guys can't fucking attack, even though you've got, in my opinion, you've got one of the top 3 youngsters in the Premier League, Saka. Fucking love the kid. You've got Aubameyang, an absolute world beater. Pepe, all right, I don't rate, but you know he's got a name in the game. All right, you know he was one of the few wanted players in Europe. Lacazette, you know, you got all these attacking players, but when I'm watching Arsenal at the moment, like last few games, I can't see you lot scoring a goal.
Same.
And that's where I think he's, in my eyes, he's flopped, Arteta, because yeah, it's fine building a solid foundation. That's fine, but where's the Arsenal attacking intent now? Where's the flair? Where's the coaching of these players? Because Arteta himself was a baller, and he was a creative.
Do you think he was good? I didn't rate Arteta. At Everton, he was all right. At Arsenal, I didn't really rate him.
Do you know what it was, Lee? There were so many fucking world-class Spanish players around. Those
capped as well. Hence why. Yeah,
that type of player was, to us, it was like, oh, he's decent, but to the Spanish and everything else, it was like, oh,
yeah, he never got a Spanish cap ever.
Yeah, because as I said,
shows how good they were.
How good they were. So I thought he was good. No, but what I liked about him was he had a creative element. As a coach, I haven't seen that at all. Like, I don't know, is that facts? Like, did you really play 5 at the back?
Yeah, we played 5 at the back against Dundalk at home. But this is the thing. He stumbled on a formation, and just to take you back to when you said like about the pressing and all that. When we came out of lockdown and football came back in June, yeah, we seemed to be so much fitter than any other team. Yeah, which I thought was baffling because we've all been in lockdown. Like, how are we fitter? So he must have done something that got him a bit fitter. When it comes to the FA Cup, the reason I love the FA Cup, I've seen us win it so many times. Yeah, I was there at the one in 2017 against Chelsea, and the scenes that day, especially when they equalised, it was oh, here we go again. We'd hammered them that day. Luckily, we won it. But for me, I've seen us beat Man City at Wembley under Wenger. Yeah. I've also seen us beat Chelsea the following game in the final, who were record-breaking champions at that point under Conte. So then we beat Man City 3-0 in the Community Shield. So I've seen us beat these teams before, and I thought, okay, well, some of these players were here in 2017 when they done it. Yeah. So although I love the FA Cup, probably more than most people out there because of the whole road to Wembley, it was a big day back in the day for us growing up watching the FA Cup. It's been a bit tainted now because of the money side of it, but I was still buzzing about it, but I weren't buzzing about it for as long as I would have been if it was 20 years ago or 10 years ago, because yeah, it's the FA Cup. That's cool. That's great. Now let's go and see what we can do in the league. For me in the league, I think he stumbled across that formation and he thought he could do that against everyone and it'll work and we'll have an outlet. And because in the game against Chelsea, the final, Aubameyang's second goal was world class. What a goal. Where he scooped past Zuma and dinked it in. But we had Pepe hugging the touchline. We had Aubameyang hugging the touchline. We had Tierney on the left-back position. Since then, he's playing the same formation, but he's not playing Pepe hugging the touchline. He's playing Willian. And Man City at home, the game you mentioned the 1-0 a minute ago, he played Willian up front and benched Lacazette. And I don't rate Lacazette, but you play Lacazette. In June, when we lost there 3-1, I think it was, or 3-0, 3-0. He played Eddie Nketiah up front. And I've been to the Etihad, and in all the years Lacazette's been here, which is nearly 4 years, he's never once started at Man City. But he's been fit for every game at Man City away, and he's never started in that game, which makes me think, well, that's a bit weird. Why have 3 different managers not started you away to Man City? Yeah, which is just baffling. Why have 3 different managers not consistently picked Pepe? He's played 5 straight games for us in a row. That's it. And he's been here nearly 2 years, right? So for Arteta, for me with Arteta, I think that he's more of a reactive coach than a proactive coach. And the problem we've got, and I want to ask you this, because I personally think he's going to get sacked this season. The problem we've got is they've bigged him up so much at this football club in terms of the PR that they're going to let him stay in it until it's completely gone wonky. Because if they sack him, they've got to go and get a G manager in, because the way they've promoted this guy, if they come with another process load of rubbish, we're all just going to tell him jog on. So they've got to get a proper manager next time. If they don't sack him, it could be to the detriment of this football club, because how far does it go before you get to that point and go, oh, hang on? Because Unai Emery, for me, if I'd known Arteta was coming in, I would have kept him. He's levels above this manager. But I want to ask you this. Pick our best front three.
So that's a bloody tough question. Now, I've always had this impression, right? But I have to say, I haven't seen Arsenal enough, Aubameyang at Arsenal enough to know. And it's always the first question I ask myself, right, is why isn't Aubameyang playing through the middle? Now, loads of people tell me that, you know, he's most effective left side of the attack. And I'd accept that if there was goals being scored from a central position. Yeah, I don't see goals being scored from a central striker. So that's the first thing I would do. But look, that does come with, I haven't seen enough of Aubameyang through the centre for Arsenal. There must be a reason. Lacazette's baffling me, man. Lacazette, like, when he first signed, I thought he'd be a good player for Liverpool. Right, back to goal, strong, holds the ball up. He's got lovely intelligence, link-up play, but he's not done. In my opinion, he's not done nothing at Arsenal. So I don't know. Saka would be, for me, one of the first names on the sheet. I just think he's fucking amazing. And Pepe, wide right. I mean, that is his position. That's what you bought him for. You got to let him go. You got to let him play out there. I actually rate Nketiah as well, to be honest with you.
You can have him. You can have him, mate.
But, you know, but I don't know what's. I don't know. He's not progressed really. I mean, he's looked good, but he hasn't progressed. I'd say I'd go for Saka, Aubameyang, and Pepe. That's what I would, from the outside. That's how
I'm so glad you've said that, because 99.99999% of everyone I ask that question says that three as the front three. And obviously, if Martinelli's fit, then a lot of people have put Martinelli in.
I haven't seen of Martinelli. I know he's a hot prospect. Everyone talks about him. And he did look good when he played against us as well.
Yeah.
But
so a lot of people would go with Martinelli left, Saka at number 10, Pepe right, and Abba up top. But this is a good stat, this, because I looked into this, because everyone says, oh, he done bits last season, Aubameyang on the left wing, right? Well, yeah, that's great, he did, but it's not working this season. So when it's not working, you have to fix it. Yeah. I looked at his form at Dortmund. He only played 10 or 11 games on the left wing at Dortmund in 213. He actually played, I think it was 55 on the right wing, and then the rest were up top, 100-odd games up top, 100-odd goals. So people say, like, yeah, but he can't hold the ball up. Well, stop playing the ball with his back to goal then. Play him over the top like they do with Vardy at Leicester and get him in behind. And if you have that little creative spark down the wings with Pepe, who can, I mean, Pepe don't even know what he's going to do after time. But then you've got Saka who can cross a ball. He's broke up the partnership with Tierney and Saka down that left side.
Oh, Tierney,
fantastic.
Tierney
he keeps playing Tierney centre back.
I told everyone, all my Arsenal mates, that Tierney is going to be one of the best signings.
He's brilliant.
But he's playing him centre back, Lee. Now, from what I saw of Tierney, and obviously we've got the best Scottish left back in world football, probably the best left back in world football. Right?
He's the best left back in world football, period.
But I'm not joking. I rated Tierney as one of the top 3 left backs in the Premier League. I thought he was going to be, but apparently he's playing him third left-sided centre back now or something. Now that's baffling. Now I can understand maybe in a game we talked about big away games where you're trying to solidify it and then maybe play Saka as a wing back. But asking Saka to come back is just so waste of his talent, in my opinion. In that first half against Man City, he was the best player on the pitch, mate.
Yep.
He honestly was. He was tearing them up. Everything that was happening was coming from Saka. And that's me as a layman, amateur football coach, totally, Sunday league stuff, right? We can see that. Why Arteta can't see that is the question, and I don't get, because I think you've got enough good personnel. Oh, I love Gabriel, your new signing. Finally, you've got a defender that loves defending.
And he dropped him at Anfield.
Loves it.
He dropped him at Anfield.
No, he played. He didn't.
No, he didn't. He was on the bench. He dropped him.
Who was your back three? It was Holding was playing.
Holding. I think he played Tierney.
I think it was Gabriel.
I'm going to have to Google it. I'm sure Gabriel was benched for that game, 100%.
You're 100% sure? Okay.
And the funny thing is what was the score that night? 3-1, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Liverpool, I'm going to Google the starting. I'm sure it was Holding, Luiz, and Tierney, I think.
Yeah, Tierney was playing. Yeah, Tierney was definitely playing, and Holding was definitely playing. I remember that much.
Here we go. Lineups. It was Rob Holding, David Luiz, and Tierney back three. Maitland-Niles left wing back, and Bellerin right wing back.
Mate, I don't know. I don't know what's going through his brain then, because you've got the makings of a solid enough team there. The players that we've mentioned, and we haven't even gotten to your sort of your midfield where you've got. I don't know. He's got. These players, see again, I was arguing with loads of fans about Xhaka and Ceballos, and Ceballos is the most overrated hype merchant. I've said it so many times. I don't know if you lot are fans or your subscribers and listeners like him. I said it even because Liverpool were linked with him, and I was telling the Liverpool fans, no, we do not want Ceballos. He's not another Fabregas. Stop this. Just stop it. He's not, and so he's proved. He shows glimpses, whatever, but nothing solid, man. There's no efficiency in his game. Like,
mate, do you know what it is with him? You never see him in the box, and you never see him in that box. He don't leave the centre circle.
That's it. You know, most footballers at that level can do what he should be able to do. What he does on a pitch, which is get the ball, pass it sideways. You know, get the ball, pass it sideways. We had someone like that. In terms of Adam Lallana, right? He gets a lot of stick from Liverpool fans. We used to never see him in the opposition box and never see him in defending wherever, just running around in the middle. Yeah,
right. Just spinning around.
Now, Ceballos reminds me of Lallana. Lovely touches, technically sound, but there's no end product. You know, if you analyze him, just what he actually brings output, nothing. Just like Lallana. Lovely player. I've got nothing against him, and I know he's gone, so I can bash him even more now. He's not at the club anymore. Bless him, stayed there, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Good servant, but output was zero. Ceballos is decent at ball progression. But again, that's exactly what I said. Most players at professional level, Premier League level should be good at progression of the ball, which is basically receiving the ball and pass completion. But how much of that pass completion is effective? How much pass? How much of that chances?
We played Dundalk, I think it was, or Mulder. I think it might have been Mulder. And I see a stat at half time. Bear in mind, we've been in their half for 90% of it. Granit Xhaka's completed more passes in the opposition half than any other player on the pitch. I mean, what a shit stat. We've spent most of the game in the first half in their half. Yeah. What I want to know is how many of them were over 10 yards and how many of them are forward. Yeah. Because if you're doing them 5 yards and backwards non-stop, what's the point in that stat? But the problem with social media now is so many fans look at the game through stats. Yeah, so it's like Hector Bellerin, for example. Hector Bellerin's got 3 assists this season. I'm counting it as 2. Because when he passed the ball to Pepe 40 yards out and Pepe run past 3 players and put it in the bottom corner, you ain't getting an assist. That's a pass, mate.
See, that's the thing, innit? We know. I say we know, like, we're, you know, the footballing gurus. I'm just saying stats without context are nothing in it. Like you've just spoken about. Like sometimes I laugh with Man United fans about Bruno's stats, right? Some of his sort of tappings and goals and some of his passes where he's passed to Rashford, who's took on 3 players and bent into the top corner.
Assists, and that's the worst stats going. Assist stats are the worst. Gabriel, when he run the whole length against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge and he scored, Mustafi gets an assist for that, and it was
exactly
when he headed it in our box, and he run the whole length.
Stats are messy. Stats can get messy. You can bend them and to suit any agenda or narrative. So
like it's the eye 0 goals, 0 assists. Is that
Ceballos? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of those, isn't it? I mean, you must you must fuck it. Now I know why you must go mad, because I'm just thinking the midfielder you guys have had in the past,
dead. It's the worst part of our team, mate.
You had my favourite, because I'm not going to lie, I thought Arsenal was my second team. Like, you know, in the Wenger days, because it was all new for us. It was new for everyone, wasn't it? When Wenger came in and literally changed the way football was played in the Premier League, and the players he brought in, they were some outstanding footballers. And then you look back and you think the state of midfield compared to the Vieiras, the Petits, the Gilberto Silvas, the Edus, who was a wonderful player, and now you compare them to the likes of what you got now. You know, I don't want to bash them, but the likes of El Neni and Xhaka. I mean, I don't even think Xhaka should be at your club right now. But
he's not even Premier League. Mate, after he told us all to fuck off, he shouldn't be a number one.
But that's where there's no fucking backbone to Arsenal's hierarchy, managing, coaching. There's no plan there. You no chance, or you got no balls to do anything about it. And how many players have held you to ransom in the last 4 or 5 years? Absolute took the piss with you guys, held you to ransom. And that's why you can't have that. We're having the same issue we had the same issue, like I'll give you examples of Emre Can, right? Thought he's better than us, wanted this, wanted that. We said, no, mate, off you go, off you pop. Now he's like, you know, playing in Borussia Dortmund, fair enough, but he hasn't won anything. Meanwhile, we've gone on to think, Gini Wijnaldum, what a fucking servant to the club.
He's brilliant. He's quality, mate.
Do you get my point? But the point being, we're not held to ransom because we've got a structure now. Like, he's coming up to 31 now, right? We're not bending over backwards to give him the contract he wants. Even though some passionate fans might say, no, we need to give Gini. Our club are beyond thinking just with their hearts.
Yeah, you've got an elite mindset. You want to build and go further. Our board, right? I'll give an example. El Neni, you nailed it a minute ago. El Neni has a couple of good games. Our social media guy puts out a 91st minute clip of him running on the halfway line, pressing, and he won a throw-in.
So that
our fans all going, well, that's his fucking job, right? Number one. Number two, off of the back of that, everyone's going, oh, give him a new contract. Why? Why? He's not good enough.
I don't think he was near first team choice at the start of the season, was he?
No,
he wasn't. I don't think he was. I mean, you might know if he was, but to me, it didn't look like El Neni was one of your first choice starting midfield.
We were going to loan him out again.
Well, there you and Ceballos, wasn't it? Was Ceballos not supposed to come back or something? And then he came back in the last.
I think that deal was always going to happen. I call him Arteta's love child.
It seems so. Look, you can have favourites like Lallana. People say the same thing about Lallana and Klopp. Like, everyone said, what does Klopp see in Lallana? Keeps him around. But you know, sometimes it's going to go against you. And I think Ceballos is a case that it's going to go against you. And Luiz, I mean, I don't know your opinions, Lee. It's the first time we spoke tonight, right? So I'm going to give my opinion without knowing what your opinion is.
You can say whatever you want, mate.
Luiz, and I've said it, David Luiz, Gary Neville described him perfectly, man. He's a PlayStation footballer. He's the worst defender. When I say worst, obviously there's worse centre-backs at maybe Palace or Burnley or Fulham or whatever, right? But out of the top, when I say top, I mean big. Right, you're a big club. You're not a top club anymore. You're a big club. Out of the big 6'8", he's the worst defender I think I've ever seen. And how he's got away with a career that he has is fucking mental. Honestly,
money deals as well to PSG. He's actually our most decorated player in terms of the trophies he's won in his career playing for us now. He's won 18 trophies.
So that's the thing, yeah. People can always throw that back at me, having that opinion, and I do get that thrown back at me. But you do get players throughout history of football that are just lucky to be in the right team at the right place. Right? You're always going to get that. The likes of Jimmy Traore won a Champions League for us. All right, do you know what I mean? And honest to God, Jimmy Traore was a fucking joke figure. Right, he was. Bless him. But and then you get Steven Gerrard, right, who never won a league title. So are you going to tell me that, you know, you can only base on what you want?
See, I said this on a show the other day, and a lot of people ripped me through it online on Twitter, right? Because I said trophies don't necessarily define how good a manager is. But they also don't define how good a player is, because Messi and Ronaldo have not won a World Cup. Skodran, Mustafi and Cleverson and Giroud have. Yeah, Giroud actually won one without scoring a goal and playing every game. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. No, this is it. This is where you need to sort of rely on your eyes more than what you read and what history tells you. Like you read off, sort of like you just said, David Luiz, 18 trophies. You think, fucking hell, he must have been Maldini throughout his career, right? But he wasn't, innit? Like when you watch him play, you think, like, I love it when if Luiz plays against us. I know there's going to be a penalty. There's going to be something stupid, a brain thought. You know, we had someone similar in Dejan Lovren, right? I thought we held on to him for a season too much. But again, Dejan Lovren was part of a system, part of a setup that Klopp had created that made him look the world's best. Even Lovren at one stage looked like a world-class defender, but that was because of the setup and the coaching of Klopp. I don't see that with Arteta, man. I really don't. But you know,
I just want to read this comment out real quick. Sorry, just mid-flow. Let me find it. Where's it gone? I can't find it. Where's it gone? He said, "How can trophy?" Oh, there we go. Trophies do matter. What the hell? If you was to put up Sol Campbell versus David Luiz as a comparison, like you just said, you'd think he was Maldini. Sol Campbell has got nowhere near 18 trophies. But if you've done the eye test over the whole careers, Sol Campbell is levels.
There's no debate. There's no debate. There's no debate. Trophies only matter as a club, for a club, when you look at the club success, not a player success, in my opinion. Trophies, of course, trophies are the end all and be all for clubs' legacies, but not players. And that's the thing I'm trying to say. It's not totally dependent on success in terms of trophies. You can win 7 FA Cups and just had lucky runs. You don't know. You need to give context when you describe a player's overall career in terms of trophies and the eye test. And if anyone says David Luiz passes the eye test too, then whatever, man.
Whatever. No, exactly. Each to their own. I want to ask you a couple more points as well, because you signed Jota, who I think is brilliant. I would have loved Jota at Arsenal, and he's dipped into Liverpool. And it's just like a perfect match so far. But obviously that leaves Firmino kind of on the edge, like in my opinion, looking in from the outside in. Out of them, obviously Firmino's been there quite a long time now. I remember the no-look goal he scored against us. I don't think he'd scored at Anfield all year, and he scored a hat-trick against us because we're Santa Claus Arsenal when we rolled up to Anfield. What's it like, right? Real talk here. When you go to games and stuff like that, obviously you can't at the moment, but when you're going there, and I know you haven't seen Jota live, but when you're seeing your lineup, you already know your starting 11 before you go to the game. It's like us with the Invincible team. We know the 11. We're going to go and see Goof. For you, what is it like seeing Salah, Firmino, Mane, Wijnaldum? Like, who do you think's like the best player in your team? Like, because you've got quality.
That's a mad question, you know, and trying to sort of look at the forwards, and I always say it. The combination of them is king. Like individually, not many people would say Salah is the best player in the world, right? Individually, if you just look at him individually. If you look at Bobby Firmino individually, you'd say, oh, come on, he's not. You can't say he's the best. All right, he's a very good player, top player. Mane, I think, is different. Mane does come into the category of one of the best players in the world, right? Yeah. But you put them three together in the formation that Klopp's created, you know, stats and the eye test put together will tell you that they're the most efficient and devastating attack in world football. Now, the reason why it's not the case anymore is because the dip in Bobby's form. I love Bobby. I think Bobby's the brain. Too many people look at Bobby's stats and think he's our striker. He's not. He's our 10. Like, you know, you've got to look at his stats. You've got to look at his output, his numbers as a 10. And he's one of the best attacking midfielders, because people just don't understand our formation. Our strikers are Mane and Salah.
Yeah, you play him like a false 9, really, number 10. Like, it's like a 9.5, isn't it?
Mane and Salah are our forwards. So when people cuss our goal-scoring stats, look, if Mane and Salah aren't scoring, then you've got a reason to cuss us. I could not tell you who the best players out of them three. If you're asking me out of the team, then Virgil van Dijk for me is the.
I knew you were going to say Van Dijk.
It has to be Lee. It has to be, because as good as our boys are up top, Virgil van Dijk is just immaculate. I can't tell you, like, you know,
he's huge as well. I see him at the Emirates, right? And I was North Bank lower, like 6 rows back. He is a fucking lump. Like, if you run into him, it's going to hurt.
It's game over. You know, I was at the game where the so-called videos came out of. Do you remember when Pepe beat him because he had a 5-yard head start, and everyone was like, Pepe took on. Like, I was at that game, and it was like boys against men. People don't show the end of that, right? The whole clip of that. This guy's, like you said, fucking 7-foot beast, but he can run as well, and he's got fucking good feet for a centre back. How many times do you see him ping passes and whatnot? I can't remember the manager that said that. It was Arteta. He says, like, you pressed them, like, because you did. Because in that game at Anfield, you fucking pressed us well. It was proper hard for us. We had to be at our best. And that's why I thought Arsenal are on a good way here, because we had to be at our sensational best to beat you at 3-1. And Arteta, after the game, said, we pressed them, everything's covered, right? Ball goes to Van Dijk, he just pings it.
60 yards, ping straight to Salah. Perfect ball. Every day. He did it 6-7 times. What are you supposed to do against that?
Yeah, what are you supposed to do against that? So look, for me, Van Dijk is the one player that I could not see Liverpool without, and I've had to. And you know, just our luck, we've not got him for the rest of the season. Out of our current front three, if you ask me as a favourite, because it's subjective, isn't it? It's like subjective. It's just like opinions. I think Mane is the king. I think Sadio Mane is the ultimate. When you need him, when things are not going right, he'll do everything in his powers, and he's got a lot of powers to get us out, and he's got us out of so many games, or won us so many games. Sadio Mane is underrated, you know that.
It's like he's 5 levels ahead. He can, like, I see a clip of him the other week. He had 3 players. It might have been against us, actually. He had 3 players around him. He's doing little drag back heel nutmegs, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, that guy is fucking brilliant. He is unreal. But Salah is going into like Liverpool folklore, mate. That guy is, nobody's ever going to forget that whole team, let's be real, or the manager, right? But when you look at the top goal scorers for Liverpool in their history, Salah's going higher and higher and higher every season. It's ridiculous. The figures that guy has posted are mad.
Lee, do you know what I love about Mo Salah and on social media, right? All these stats accounts, when they tell you about, let's just say Aubameyang, for example, right? Aubameyang is the second, highest, and then they'll talk about, and they'll always finish only Salah. Right, they'll always finish with only Salah has a better record. This guy is so underrated; it's unreal. It gets to a point where you start thinking, "Excuse me, is there a?" And I'm going to put it out there: is there a xenophobic element to the media? Is there a racist element? Why he's 100%. Why he's getting a different press from everyone else? I don't know if you saw a couple of weeks back, where there was a weekend where Harry Kane dived. Salah dived. When I say dived, they'd done what they had to do.
They manipulated the situation.
Callum Wilson, Mo Salah, Harry Kane. The worst culprit out of all of them was Harry Kane, what he'd done, right? He was the least, and even the dive, and he was the least talked about. Who was the most talked about? Mo Salah.
Of course.
They will not talk about his unbelievable record. Lee, he's smashed every single record, playing essentially as a right wing forward. He doesn't play centrally. He plays as a right wing forward. I accept he's a forward. I accept that. I'm not going to sit here and suddenly say he's a midfielder. No, he's an attacker.
Yeah,
I hold my hands up. But his goals and stats record is insane.
He will go down. Top goal scorer? Is it Dalglish?
It is Dalglish. Yeah. No, Rush.
Oh, Rush. Of course. Yeah. As if I said Dalglish. Dalglish is up there though, isn't he?
Yeah. He's gonna. I can't say he's going to smash Rush's record but if he stayed, because I think Mo probably.
How far behind is he?
Top of my head, I can't tell you, but I can't tell you top of my head. My mind's gone blank. Don't know if you can pull it up there. But this fella, if he stays here, this is the thing though. I don't think he's going to stay at Liverpool. I think he may leave us. Now, I know that might come as a bombshell to most Liverpool fans, but I'm so confident in our setup and recruitment team that I know we'll replace him with someone as good or, as efficient for the team. Do you know what I mean? We may have to change the setup of our team, but we'll be fine. Salah will definitely go down in folklore as one of the greatest attackers Liverpool's ever seen. But my personal favourite is Sadio Mane. That's the best way to put it, man.
Yeah. So I don't know how many Salah's got, but Ian Rush has got 346 total goals for Liverpool.
Do you know what? We just done an LFC quiz the other day, and this is the very reason why I opted out of my own quiz, because I said my mind goes blank, right?
No, some people are encyclopedias in their brain with this shit.
Oh, they're mad, yeah. Ian Rush has got 346, so he's got a long way to get to Ian Rush, because Ian Rush is
Roger Hunt's second. He's got 285.
But if you look at it, but the way to look at records, like again, is games to ratio, games to goals ratio.
Yeah.
And this guy's insane when it comes to that.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Yeah, ridiculous.
He will go. Look, there's no doubt about it. What he's done in the 3 years that he's been here is out of this world. He's elevated us to another level. Do you know what I mean? But there's just something that about Sadio Mane, to me, it's that warrior spirit. They've all got it, but Sadio Mane is just, it's just your own personal favourites. I can't sit here and say.
And you got the pair of them for less than we paid for Aubameyang. It's mad, isn't it, when you think about it?
It's
we are
absolutely
running
mad.
out of time on this as well, because I know we're going to wrap this up in the next 5 minutes, right? There's 600 people watching, over 600 people watching now. Appreciate that. Listen, Grizz's YouTube channel link is in the title of this video. There's a little app there. It should be highlighted in blue. If it's not, it might be in grey. Click on it and go and subscribe to LFC Daytrippers. I'm going to be on Grizz's channel tomorrow at 10 o'clock p.m.
10 o'clock, yeah,
10 p.m. And we're going to have a little chat over there as well. I want to end on one more question. When Klopp took over, obviously you got to a couple of finals. That didn't go as planned, but excuse me, he took over in the October, I think it was. After a few games, I think you beat Man City away. I think you battered 4 past them. I might be wrong. I think it was 4, wasn't it? But you had ups and downs that season and finished 8th. So a lot of Arsenal fans are comparing us under Arteta with the Klopp under Liverpool. When Klopp came in, I'm pretty sure Klopp said, if I'm sat here in 4 years' time and I haven't won a league title, I'll leave, or something along them lines.
He absolutely said that.
Yeah. Now, obviously, he backed it. When he said that, obviously, you're probably getting gassed and like, oh, okay, yeah, brilliant. Or you might have been, we've heard it all before. Did you sit there as a Liverpool fan saying to other fans that may have doubted it, because there was a lot when you finished 8th that season, lost the 2 finals, a lot of people were saying he ain't the right guy. Was you one of them that sat there and said there's a process and, you could see the vision, or was you one that was a little bit skeptical like I am with Arteta?
I was totally pro Klopp. I was totally in it. Not the process, it was more the man. You got to remember, if people are comparing Arteta to Klopp when they first came, they need to check a few things. Jurgen Klopp was in charge of Mainz, a small German club, got them promoted. That was an amazing feat. Like, Mainz it's a proper small little town. Then he went to Dortmund, right? And you got to remember, Dortmund are equivalent of, it'll probably be an equivalent of getting Arsenal, right, up against the might of Man City and Liverpool, right? They're up against Bayern Munich, who pretty much won the league every year. And he broke that monopoly of Bayern Munich, playing some of the best football Dortmund and Europe has seen with that Dortmund team. Dortmund reached Champions League finals. So I trusted the man, Klopp, rather than the process. The process I didn't have much faith in because of the fuck-ups with Hodgson, etc., right? So we were very wary of the process, but I trusted this man's vision. I trusted his credentials. How anyone can relate that to Arteta and the state of Arteta coming as a novice coach, no credentials, How they can relate that to that is beyond me. But if they want to, yeah, Arteta.
I think what it is it's when I speak to people and I see people saying it, they've kind of evolved it now. So it was but he'll do what Klopp did. Now it's not doing what Klopp did. It's the fact that he came in, we finished 8th, they finished 8th. He's got to a final and won his, he got to 2 and lost his, but they trusted him. The fans all backed it. And then they've got the rewards down the road. You've just hit the nail on the head, mate. Yeah. He was a proven coach and he improved Lewandowski so good. Yeah. That Bayern Munich bought him and he's still now one of the best strikers in world football. Yeah. All them years later. And
this league, in terms of improving players, this coach's record second to none. Yeah. Second to none. He's improved players out of, I don't know what your opinion was on players like Henderson, Milner, Lovren, Robertson.
Henderson's so underrated. So underrated.
But Liverpool fans were slagging him to the max. It was like people were saying, can't wait until Klopp comes to this club when new Klopp's coming and kick out all shit like Henderson, Milner, Lovren. He turned these guys into fucking world beaters.
And he's captain now. What a turnaround.
He's captain now. People, honest to God, deluded Liverpool fans were saying, can't wait until Klopp sees the deficiencies in Henderson and Milner and Lovren and all these, Robertson. Even Robertson was laughed at when we bought him. Now, as you just said, he's the best left back in the world. Henderson's one of the most efficient midfielders in world football. I still wouldn't say he's magnificent technically, whatever, but he's the most efficient. Yeah. One of the most efficient.
He's the perfect left back for what Klopp's doing at Liverpool with the rest of that team. If you put Tierney in there instead of Robertson, I think Tierney could evolve at Liverpool under Klopp because I think he's just as good or got the ability to be just as good.
100%. Tierney would. I was crying out for Tierney when we're looking at left backs. I knew it wasn't unrealistic because he's guaranteed to play at Arsenal. But Tierney would have been my number one choice for.
Yeah. Mate, I don't get players on shirts often. I've got Tierney number 3 on
the back. Really? Wow, look at that.
I love him, mate. Absolutely love him. I love the way that he carries his Tesco bag in with his boots. Yeah, he ain't one of these flashy ones with an LV bag. And like
he's Robertson incarnated. He's Robertson incarnated. That's exactly what he is.
He's a proper throwback to old school left backs.
That's what you need. You need the likes of Tierney to get you back, and Gabriel, who finally, I said, you got a defender who fucking loves it, relishes defending.
Let's rapid fire through a couple of comments real quick as the comments are going mad. So thank you to everyone who has put a comment in. Can't read them all, obviously. Do you think Rafa would be a good fit for us? And your opinion on Ox since he's been at your club?
Rafa wouldn't be a good fit for you. He'd kill the owners or the owners would kill him, right? And it's a true story. Rafa's not a good fit for you. Ox when Ox is fit, he's good. But Ox is just one of those guys that I don't know what to say about his injury situation, man. He's just unlucky or he's just cursed or something, bless him. But good news on Ox is he's back in training today. So hopefully when Ox is fit and firing, he's fantastic. I just don't think with the injuries he's had, he'll ever get back to that level, bless him. Yeah.
No, it's a shame. Do you know what? He was one of the players I was gutted. I was actually at the game when he played right wing back against you lot. And we're all singing, we're fucking shit. When Bellerin gave Salah the freedom of Anfield, and he ran the whole length. But I think it was like 3 days later, he left.
Yeah.
And went to you. And I was like, why did you play him? You knew he was going. He knew he was going. He played like a twat that day. But yeah, it's a shame because he's a brilliant footballer when he's fully fit.
When he's fully fit, he was one of the English brightest prospects, man. When you play him in the attacking midfield role, when he's got freedom to run at players, you don't want to be playing at right wing or right wing back. Even he hated it.
Yeah,
and
driving over halfway.
Again, he was one of those that we actively scouted for ages and looked at his pressing numbers and how he pounds players. No one else was doing that at Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? He used to get frustrated, with his Arsenal mates because everyone else would be just fighting around. Where Ox is fucking pressing everyone, and we saw that in him. And when he was fit, like some of his games in Champions League against Man City and whatever, oh man, I miss him. But
he had a game where we got battered by Bayern Munich, I think it was. Might have been the game we drew with him, or just like I can't remember. But he went on this slaloming run, and he was skipping past 5-6 men for us, and I'm like, shit. And he was fucking brilliant that night.
And his shot.
baller here. Yeah,
he's got one of the best shots in the Premier League. When he, oh man, I get upset talking about Ox because what it could have been. I genuinely don't think he's going to get back to those levels.
Thank you, Zadie, as well. She says, I want to tell you saying I'm a Chelsea fan, but I think you mean family of Gooners. Is that right? And you're the only reason I like them. Discuss. Well, listen, if it is family that you meant, you got to love your family. Come on.
Family comes first.
And I'm very jealous. Second. Yeah, I'm very jealous of Chelsea because they're the most successful team in this country for the last 15 years. And we sold our soul to go and compete when we were already competing. And they've gone up there and we were already up there and we've just gone the opposite way. So, yeah, enjoy Chelsea while you can. It must be a joy to see VIEIRA and Havertz and Ziyech. What a team. But one more question and I'm going to wrap this up. Do you think you're going to win the league this season?
We're mere mortals now. That's what I will say. With the injuries to Gomez and Virgil van Dijk, you take away any of these teams. I mean, you take away the two best centre backs of any squad, you're going to feel it. On top of that, we've got 5 major major players injured. We're not talking squad fillers. We're talking the likes of Fabinho, Trent, Thiago. It's going to be harder than it was. Absolutely. We're not walking away with this league. We're not running away with it. It's going to be an exciting league. Loads of content for the likes of us to talk about. At least that's good, right? Exciting. Yeah. It's not going to be boring Liverpool winning every week. I think we're just favourites, but I think City and Chelsea. Hate to say Chelsea because I can't stand them, but I think City and Chelsea are going to run us real close.
Do you think Tottenham are in it? Do you think Tottenham have got a shout?
It's tough to say. Mourinho just gives you that feeling like has he got one more last hurrah in him, and that's the fear factor. I don't think Chelsea's defense is as good as some people are making out. I still think that's their major weak link. Davinson Sanchez and Dyer, I think they're awful centre back. So maybe ask me again if I get an invitation again. Maybe ask me after. Welcome, mate. Ask me after Spurs' next 6-7 games, and then we can discuss because that's the litmus test for them.
Of course, yeah, they've got a lot of big games coming up in there. But listen, it's been a pleasure having you on. Listen, mate, you're always welcome. We've swapped numbers now.
Yeah.
Considering we'd never actually spoken to each other before, to do 1 hour and 3 minutes and it to flow.
We could have talked overnight. Like I told you, like 50 minutes, and we've talked 1 hour without even blinking. Like, see, that's mad. But when you're like me and you, like we talk, we are what we are. We don't need to put on an act. We don't need to put on a show, and and you can talk. It's like me and you sitting in a pub or a cafe or wherever. We can talk football all night, and that's what.
And the thing is, we're both respectful about each other's teams as well. And we can both sit under each other's teams, but do it in a way where it's constructive criticism and what you see as an outsider when you're in the bubble of your own team.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. That's the name of the game. But listen, thank you very much for having me on, man.
Thank you, mate. And listen, everybody who is watching, there's still nearly 600 people watching this live. Firstly, hit the like button. Thank you to everybody who's been in the chat. Thank you to everybody who's donated as well. I always appreciate that. And make sure you follow LFC Daytrippers. Grizz is going to be on there tomorrow. I'm going to be on there. And what do you do on your show quickly? How often do you upload? We've got about 5 shows a week, man. So Friday tomorrow you're on a Premier League preview. Sorry. So looking forward to the Premier League games on week at 10 p.m. But thank you very much for having me on, and thanks for the shout out, man. The link is in the title for Grizz's channel, so go and subscribe to that now. Thanks, mate. We're out of here. I'll be back again tomorrow lunchtime. I've got a mad busy day tomorrow, so I'm going to have a chill out and go to bed. Laters, peeps.